Hi, welcome. I am Brittany with Birth It Forward, certified birth and bereavement doula, certified yoga instructor, and family photographer. We are here today to talk about things to ask when hiring a doula. A lot of people are calling these things red flags, but I don't really like that term. It's more, these are just things that you should think about when you hire a doula because they can make sure that you are finding a good match for you and what your support needs are. Um, all right. So first things first, let's talk about the advocacy style. What is this doula's approach to advocating for their clients in the medical setting? There are many ways to advocate for your client, and what way is really going to resonate for you? The question helps to understand how that doula is going to handle a certain situation and what kind of stance they're going to take in the birth space. What kind of birth space are you looking for? You might find that a certain advocacy style might be more beneficial for a certain individual versus another type of advocacy style. So there are lots of confrontational ways that you can advocate for someone, but there are also very collaborative ways that you can advocate for someone. So I'll do a video later about the different advocacy styles, but something to think about is how do you feel you want to be advocated for or with? Some doulas are very assertive with their advocacy, and that can be potentially challenging to staff, and it can potentially cause some animosity between your doula and your medical staff. It can also be necessary in some situations to have a more assertive advocate in your corner. While others work more diplomatically to help ensure that all the client's needs are met, and by reducing the amount of friction that's happening between your doula and your support team and then your medical team. So those are some things to think about and to consider. Another question to ask is, when is your doula going to meet you during labor? So I often have this question actually throughout prenatals, but it can be something that can really make or break your decision when talking to a doula in when are they going to meet you during an induction scenario, or when are they going to meet you during a spontaneous labor scenario? Ultimately, when are they going to meet you? Will they meet you at your home, or do they only meet you at your birthplace? Whether that is home, birth center, or hospital. Is there a certain dilation that they want before they meet with you? Or do they go based on your needs and emotional and physical needs? Just what you are saying is when that you need support. So clarify what their preferences are before you hire. Some doulas want you to reach a certain cervical dilation, whereas others are willing to meet you anywhere, anytime for however long. So that's a great question that you can ask. And think about what's important to you. You might be someone who's like, I'll be okay until X time, and that's okay with me. How does the doula work with the staff at your birthplace? So regardless of if that birthplace is at home, hospital, or birth center, what is your doula's strategy for working with the medical team that you have hired? This can be a point of contention for some birth teams. So you don't want your you might need it to be more of a hostile work environment, hostile birth environment, but most people don't want a hostile birth environment or to have animosity between their chosen birth team and their medical birth team. So at Birth It Forward, we work to make that birth team Thank you. Thank you for the book. We really work hard to make it a cohesive birth experience between your birth support team. So that would be your whomever you want in the room with you. So your support team, such as your doula, your spouse, a parent, whomever is in the room with you, a sister, friends, and your medical staff, so that we can have a much smoother experience between the client and just her overall experience. But some people know that they're going into a place that might need a more heavy hand in, well, that other point we talked about, advocacy. So how is that doula going to work with the staff at your birth center, at your birth space? Are they going to build a rapport, or is it going to be more along the lines of us versus them? How do your opinions, personal beliefs, and biases affect the way that you support a family? This is a question for the doula. So, our role is to keep our own personal beliefs, opinions, and biases out of the way that we support you, because this isn't our story. This is your story. So especially with us at Birth It Forward, we work really hard at making sure that our opinions, beliefs, yes, your story, that our opinions, beliefs, and biases don't play a hand in how we support you. We are evidence-based support. And we do that to make sure that your choices aren't they aren't influenced by what our choices were or are. You are going to have a different opinion on things than we do, and that is okay. This is your story, this is your experience, and we want you to have the experience that you're looking for. So some doulas have a hard time with that. We're people, and that's normal. You can kind of hear it in some of the ways that they talk and in the ways that they explain things to you. So listen as you're talking with them and ask this question. How do your beliefs affect the way you'll support me? We want those beliefs to align with yours as best as possible. Everyone's not going to be the same, so keep that in mind. But we do want them to, if not align, then to be taken out of the picture for the way we support you. Another question that you can ask is, what kinds of birth locations do you specialize in? Do you have a specialty? Have you gone to more than just the hospital? Do you only do home birth? Do you only do hospital birth or birth center birth? Have you done outdoor birth if you're wanting an outdoor birth or a water birth? Are you well versed in those things? Because a hospital scenario is completely different than a home birth scenario. And a birth center is actually quite different from home and hospital as well. Outdoors is absolutely going to be different than everything. So she says, stop. She says, my video is over. But your specialty can have an effect, like the doula specialty, my specialty can have an effect on your experience. I'm going to need to support you a little different in the hospital versus at home. And I'm going to need to support you a little different with the hospital staff versus a home birth midwife. So understanding the different protocols and the dynamics within those spaces can make a big difference for how your birth experience is going to go. And then last but not least, how do you feel when you talk to this doula? Do you feel supported? Do you feel like the doula is talking down to you, or like the doula is condescending? Or do you feel listened to and like the doula is going to be a true member of your team and have your back at all times and support you in the way that you will feel that you've been making these decisions to the best of your knowledge and ability? Does the doula make you feel in control of your experience and of your story? These are important questions and things to think about, because if you don't feel in control, how are you going to feel after your birth? Is control important to you? Is feeling loved and supported important to you? Yes. Shh. Let me finish this. So reflect on your interactions with that doula when you go to hire the doula. Did they listen to you when you guys were speaking? Did they ask questions about what your experience, what you want your experience to be? And did they respond in a way that you felt supported or felt like they would support you in the choices that you are currently making? Do you feel confident in your doula's ability to respect you and your choices and help you advocate for those choices, and advocate in a way that makes you feel comfortable. You know, some people need a doula who is definitely more combative with their advocacy style, whereas others need a more laid back advocacy style or cohesive advocacy style. So we'll talk about those different styles later, but think about how it felt when you talked to that doula, and would you want that person in your birth space? This is a very private space. It's a very personal space, and it can have a lasting impression on you. So it's important to really think through these questions and see if you feel that you have been well supported by these people that you have looked to hire, so that you can make an informed decision on who you want in your birth space. All right. So if you are a doula interested in advocacy training, we do have an amazing advocacy training course every year that we put on live at Birthicon. We are working on, we had a course up on Udemy, but Udemy's being silly and has locked us out of our Udemy. Blah, blah, blah. Rewind that. We had a course open on Udemy, but we are currently changing platforms to our own training website. So momentarily, in the next few months, we will have our course up virtually. But in the meantime, you can always get some tickets to our Birthicon. We do have virtual tickets available, but if you're in the Kansas City area or willing to travel, come join us for Birthicon, take our advocacy class, and we would love to see you there. You can get tickets on our website just by clicking the website and going to the tab for events and clicking on Birthicon. All right. Make sure you like and subscribe, follow us, hit the bell button so you're notified when new videos come out. We do a video every Tuesday for Birth Tip Tuesday, and I do a yoga video every Friday. So we would love to have you join us, and I will see you again soon.